Welcome to the deep dive. Have you ever poured, countless hours into a new product feature only to find it just doesn't quite land with your customers?
Oh, absolutely. Or maybe you're launching something completely new, right? And you're just not entirely sure if you're building what people really need.
Exactly. And often the missing piece isn't about what you're building, but really understanding why your customers behave the way they do, or maybe why they don't.
Uh-huh. The why is key.
Today, we're taking a bit of a shortcut into a topic that's just crucial for anyone building or improving products and services: customer feedback analysis. Specifically, we're looking through the powerful lens of customer interviews.
Right. Direct conversations.
You've sent us some fantastic source material excerpts from Mastering Customer Interviews for Business Insights, which is basically a comprehensive guide.
A really solid guide, yeah.
So our mission today: let's unpack the most important nuggets from this guide so you can cut through those assumptions and truly understand customer needs and experiences.
Get to the real stuff.
Yeah, forget the information overload. We're here for those aha moments.
Well, what's truly fascinating here, I think, is how customer interviews offer such a direct, really in-depth way to understand not just what customers think or do,
Right.
but that profound why behind their actions and feelings. It's really about getting beyond just, surface-level feedback.
Surface level, yeah, like survey scores.
Exactly. And getting into the real, actionable insights, the kind that can genuinely transform your product or service.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit more then. The source defines customer feedback analysis as, well, systematically collecting, analyzing, and then crucially, acting on feedback.
That acting on part is vital.
Totally. It's
Yeah.
the process that helps businesses truly understand needs, preferences, pain points, identify where they can improve, validate new ideas, and ultimately build stronger relationships.
Indeed. And while there are lots of methods out there, surveys, analytics, usability tests, you name it, our source really emphasizes customer interviews. They're just a particularly powerful tool for those qualitative insights.
Qualitative, yeah. The stories, the context.
Precisely. If we connect this to the bigger picture, interviews provide a depth that often gets completely missed by other methods. Imagine you get a survey result saying 50% of users don't use feature X.
Okay, that tells you what?
Exactly. A survey tells you what. But an interview,
Yeah.
that helps you uncover the why. Maybe it's, a critical piece of information missing in the onboarding.
Or they just don't see the value yet.
Or they perceive it as irrelevant when it's actually crucial. This deeper understanding is just essential for several reasons.
Okay, like what?
Well, first, in-depth understanding. They let you explore experiences, needs, expectations in real detail, especially for specific features or maybe the whole product journey.
Got it.
Second, the discovery of new insights. Because you're asking open-ended questions, you can uncover completely unexpected issues or opportunities, things that just wouldn't surface otherwise.
Like those happy accidents.
Sort of. Often, the most profound aha moments come from what a customer doesn't say explicitly, or maybe from a comment that seems off topic. But when you probe a bit deeper, it reveals a core unmet need. It's fascinating.
I can see that.
Interviews also help with genuine relationship building, that direct interaction. It fosters trust. It shows customers their opinions are genuinely valued. That really enhances loyalty.
Makes sense. People like being heard.
Definitely. And critically, they help with the validation ideas. You can test hypotheses or new features with real users before you sink a ton of resources into development.
Oh, that's huge. Saves time, saves money.
Immense amounts, potentially. And finally, they offer really precise feedback on specific features, super valuable for refining how users interact with particular parts of your product.
That distinction between the what and the why really hits home. So how do you actually go about tapping into that deeper why? Our guide breaks it down into 3 crucial phases, right?
That's right. Preparation, conducting the interview, and then analysis and action.
Okay, let's dive into each one. Because skipping any of these steps could really, well, undermine the whole effort, couldn't it?
Absolutely. They all link together.
Let's start with phase 1, preparation. This sounds like it's all about setting yourself up for success. What are the core steps here? What's the groundwork?
Okay, so the very first step, and it's absolutely foundational, is to set clear objectives.
Yeah.
You need to define precisely what you want to learn or achieve.
Not just talk to customers.
Exactly. Not just talk to customers. Instead of something vague like know more about how customers view a product, your goal might be much more specific, like understand the usability issues of our new onboarding flow.
Okay.
And maybe even add a metric like identify 3 key friction points that cause 50% of users to abandon onboarding. That kind of clarity helps you find the right people.
And ask the right questions.
Precisely. And ask the right questions.
Yeah.
Second, assemble the team.
Right. It's not usually a solo mission.
Usually not, no. You'll likely want moderators to lead the conversation, note-takers to capture everything, and maybe key stakeholders who need to hear this feedback directly.
Getting everyone on the same page sounds important.
Vital. Everyone needs to be aligned on the objectives in their roles. Makes the whole process smoother.
And then maybe the linchpin here. Develop the interview guide. This isn't just a list of questions, is it? Sounds like there's some real craft involved.
There absolutely is. The key is creating genuinely open-ended questions. Using who, what, when, where, why, or how.
The classic interrogatives.
Exactly. They encourage rich, descriptive detail, not just a simple yes or no. So instead of asking, do you like the new feature?
Which leads them.
Right, it leads them. Instead, ask something like, can you walk me through the last time you used the new feature? What was that experience like for you from start to finish?
Much better. Gets them talking.
Totally. And crucially, you must avoid those leading questions that bias the answer. You want their honest thoughts, not what they think you want to hear.
Are there tools to help with this? It sounds tricky.
Yeah, there are. The source mentions things like the User Interviews Launch Kit that offers structured templates and examples. Hotjar AI can even help generate initial question ideas based on your objectives.
Interesting. AI helping craft human conversations.
It can be a good starting point. But ultimately, practicing active listening is essential. You need to adapt questions on the fly, dig deeper based on what they're saying.
Okay, so you have your guide, then you need people to talk to. How do you handle recruiting participants, getting the right voices in the room, so to speak?
Yeah, this is critical. It's all about finding people who truly represent your target audience or have relevant experiences with your product or service.
Not just your friends and family.
Definitely not. You want diversity across different factors, maybe usage patterns, their industry, age, gender, location, language, if that's relevant.
How do you find these people efficiently?
Well, there are platforms specifically for this. The guide mentions tools like User Interviews Recruit or Hotjar Engage. They're designed to streamline the process, connect you with qualified folks. It can cut recruitment time from weeks down to maybe just days.
Wow, that's a big difference.
Huge time saver. Okay, so finally, for preparation, you have to prepare logistics.
The practical stuff. Seems obvious, but what gets missed?
Well, lots can get missed. Don't underestimate this step. It's about setting up the interview environment properly, whether that's virtual or in person.
Virtual seems common now.
It often is, yeah. Great for global reach and convenience. But either way, test all your equipment, your video conferencing tools, your recording software. Test it well in advance.
Avoid that awkward tech scramble mid-interview.
Please, yes. And crucially, don't forget incentives or thank you gestures. Things like product discounts, gift cards. It's a small thing, but it shows you really appreciate their time and insights.
Right. Acknowledging their contribution. Okay, so you've meticulously prepared. Now, the moment of truth. Actually conducting the interview. How do you make sure it's engaging, insightful, and not just like a rigid interrogation?
Great question. It really starts with building rapport. Don't just jump into the tough questions. Begin with some light, welcoming conversation to make the participant feel comfortable.
Break the ice a little.
Exactly. Then, clearly explain the purpose and structure. How long will it take? What will you discuss? And, importantly, assure them about confidentiality. Setting those expectations creates a safe space for them to share openly.
Okay, sets the stage. Then what?
Then, ask open-ended questions. Follow your guide, sure, but allow for flexibility. Be ready to probe deeper based on what they say.
Any specific techniques for probing?
Yeah, the source mentions a really powerful one, the 5 whys.
Ah, the classic.
It is, ask why. Potentially up to 5 times to really get to the root cause behind a statement. So if a customer says, I stopped using feature X, don't just leave it there.
Ask why.
Ask, why did you stop? Then maybe, why was that a problem for you? Keep going gently. Practice active listening throughout. Taking notes is essential, of course.
But can be distracting.
It can be. Which is why considering AI tools like Marvin is interesting. They can automate transcription, even help identify key themes in real time. That frees you up to really focus on the conversation itself.
Freeing up focus. I like that. Now, how do you navigate that tricky balance, keeping the interview on track versus letting the conversation flow naturally? You don't want it to feel rushed, but you also have objectives.
That's definitely an art. It's about managing the flow. Keep the interview aligned with your goals, but allow for natural conversation and even tangents if they seem potentially insightful. Don't jump in too quickly.
Let them think.
Exactly. Ensure the participant has ample time to think and respond. Sometimes silence is where the best insights emerge. Also, a quick point, always remember accessibility. Think about screen readers or captioning if needed for inclusive interviews.
Good point. Inclusivity matters. And then how do you wrap it up? How do you conclude the interview gracefully?
Always, always express sincere gratitude for their time and insights. That's paramount. Provide any promised incentives promptly.
Don't make them chase you for the gift card.
Definitely not. Offer to answer any questions they might have. Make it feel like a two-way street. And if necessary, maybe schedule follow-up discussions if you need to dive even deeper on certain points.
Okay, makes sense. So you've gathered all this rich, nuanced feedback. Now, the potentially overwhelming part. Phase 3, analysis and action. This is where the magic happens, right? Turning those conversations into actual improvements.
This is where the rubber meets the road, yeah. First step, transcribe and organize data.
Ugh. Transcription.
It can be tedious, but automated tools like Otter.ai or Rev can handle the bulk of it pretty efficiently now. Platforms like Condens can help you collate everything in one central place, adding context like who said it, when, maybe customer details.
So it's not just a pile of transcripts.
Right. Organization is key. Even a spreadsheet can work for smaller projects. But dedicated tools really shine as you scale up.
Okay, data organized. What's next?
Then you categorize feedback. This usually involves using a tagging system. You create tags for themes you're seeing, like delivery issues or onboarding friction or positive feedback on X feature.
Tagging themes.
Yeah. And consider hierarchical tagging for root cause analysis. For instance, a top-level tag might be payment issue and a subtag could be PayPal isn't working. That helps pinpoint specific problems.
Ah, I see. Drilling down.
Exactly. For larger volumes of feedback, AI tools like synthesize can help assign sentiment scores, maybe on a 1-5 scale, but always, always have a human review that, especially for nuance. AI isn't perfect.
Right. Human oversight is crucial. So you've categorized. How do you then move beyond just categories to find those really deep insights, the underlying patterns?
That's the core of it. Identifying patterns and insights. Look for common themes popping up across multiple interviews, recurring issues, frequent positive comments. Group these insights into broader topic clusters like overall UX issues or common feature requests.
So synthesizing the tags.
Pretty much. You can even use some quantitative methods here, like measuring the frequency of certain themes, but don't let the numbers overshadow the why. The qualitative depth is still gold.
Don't lose the story.
Never lose the story. And our source actually suggests starting this analysis during the interviews themselves. Maybe jotting down emerging themes on a mind map or sharing real-time findings with the team. Keeps the insights fresh.
Interesting idea. Analyze as you go. Then what? You have patterns, insights.
Next, you create a feedback analysis report. And this isn't just a dry data dump. It needs to tell a story.
Make it compelling.
Absolutely. Present findings, both quantitatively, maybe, with charts and graphs showing frequency and qualitatively. Use powerful, direct customer quotes. Those provide the emotional impact and make the insights really relatable.
Bring the customer voice into the room.
Exactly. Tools like Tableau, Flourish, or Visme can help create compelling visualizations. Miro is great for collaborative brainstorming around the themes you've found.
Okay, great report. This raises the big question, though. How do you make sure this amazing report actually leads to change? How do you get from report to reality?
The action plan. You absolutely need to develop an action plan. Prioritize the insights you've found. Which ones will have the biggest impact? Which ones are actually feasible for your team to implement right now?
Impact versus effort.
Classic prioritization matrix, yeah? Rank them based on customer importance and maybe team importance or ease of implementation. Assign clear responsibilities to specific people or teams. Set realistic timelines.
Accountability.
Crucial. And don't look at interview insights in isolation. Combine them with other data sources, support logs, analytics data, survey results for that holistic view. This isn't a one-off thing either. It's about iterating. Use continuous interviews to keep refining your understanding.
Keep the feedback loop going. And the final step, making sure everyone knows.
Yes. The capstone is to share the report and insights. Present your findings clearly and compellingly to the relevant teams, stakeholders, leadership.
Not just emailing a PDF.
Please no, don't just present data points. Use those compelling video clips if you have permission, maybe photos, definitely those powerful quotes. Really tell the customer's story. These insights should then directly drive decisions, product development changes, marketing strategy shifts, customer service improvements. Make sure they align back to those initial business goals you set.
Connect the dots back to the objectives. Makes sense. Our guide also hits on some crucial best practices, doesn't it? Things to keep in mind throughout this whole process to ensure effectiveness and, well, integrity.
Definitely. Some really important reminders.
What stands out for you is maybe the secret sauce for doing this well consistently?
Well, a critical one, maybe the most critical, is to actively work to reduce bias. We all have unconscious biases. It's just human. So it's vital to be aware of them. Strive for neutrality in how you ask questions and how you interpret the answers. Don't steer the conversation towards what you want to hear. Don't interpret answers through your own preconceived notions.
Easier said than done sometimes.
It takes practice and self-awareness. Also, always ensure confidentiality. Build that trust. Customers need to feel absolutely safe sharing their true thoughts, even critical ones.
Foundational for honesty. What else?
Beyond that, be flexible. Yes, you have an interview guide, but allow the conversation to flow naturally. Don't be afraid to deviate slightly if a tangent seems promising. Sometimes the best insights are unexpected.
Go where the conversation leads, within reason.
Within reason, exactly. And always show appreciation. We mentioned incentives, but even just a genuine, heartfelt thank you goes a long way.
Simple but important, and it loops back to the questions themselves, right?
Absolutely. That foundation we discussed, always aim for those open-ended questions, starting with who, what, when, where, why, or how. Never forget that core principle.
Keep it open.
Keep it open. And finally, it's really vital to combine interviews with other methods. Don't rely solely on interviews. Use them alongside surveys, analytics, usability tests. Get that comprehensive 360-degree view of your customer experience.
Depth from interviews, breadth from other methods.
Exactly. You need both for the full picture.
Now, for those listening who are thinking, okay, I want to try this, the source mentions several helpful tools that can streamline things. Can you give us a quick rundown again, just to recap what some of these do?
Sure thing. So for recruitment, finding participants, you've got platforms like User Interviews Recruit and Hotjar Engage. They connect you with people.
Got it. Finding people.
For interview guide creation, helping you craft those questions, there's the User Interviews Launch Kit for templates, and maybe Hotjar AI for initial brainstorming.
Help with the questions.
Then for note-taking and transcription, tools like Otter.ai or Rev handle the audio to text. Platforms like Condens or Marvin go further, helping organize notes, and even using AI to pull out themes or key moments.
Managing the raw data.
Yeah. For the deep analysis phase, making sense of all that qualitative data, you have tools like MaxQDA or Dovetail. They help you tag, categorize, find connections across interviews. Centisum can help with sentiment analysis, and, notably, AI offers more advanced analysis features.
Tools for finding patterns.
Right. And finally, for data visualization, making those reports compelling. Think Tableau, Flourish, Visme, or collaborative tools like Miro. They help you tell that customer story visually.
Bringing it all together.
Exactly. These tools aren't magic bullets, but they can significantly boost efficiency, especially when you're dealing with a larger volume of feedback.
Makes sense. Technology as an enabler. So what does this all actually look like in practice? Our guide shared some really compelling examples of how interviews drove tangible improvements, real-world impact stuff.
Yeah, these really show the power. For instance, there was a sauce company struggling with user retention. They thought the problem was a missing feature people wanted.
A common assumption.
Very common. But through interviews, they uncovered something different. It was actually a major usability issue deep in their onboarding process. Users were getting overwhelmed and frustrated and just abandoning the product before they even discovered the core features.
Wow. So the problem wasn't the features at all.
Not primarily, no. The insights led them to completely redesign the onboarding. They focused on, psychological reassurance, simplifying the initial steps, breaking it down. The result: onboarding completion rates increased by a significant 30%.
30%, that's huge. That's a real aha moment discovered through talking.
Absolutely. The problem wasn't what they assumed. Another example involved an e-commerce business. They had a general sense of customer preferences, sure.
From analytics, maybe?
Probably. But through in-depth interviews, they uncovered a highly requested but previously unconsidered product feature related to customization options.
Something analytics wouldn't easily show.
Exactly. It was nuanced. Developing and launching this specific feature, which came directly from those customer conversations, ended up boosting sales by 15%.
15% just from listening and building the right thing.
It was a feature customers knew they wanted once prompted, but the business hadn't realized just how high a priority it was for them.
Fascinating. And for those times when things maybe don't go as planned, there was that example about win-loss interviews, right?
Yes, that one's incredibly telling. A tech startup was using win-loss interviews, basically talking to prospects they lost to competitors.
Ooh, tough conversations, potentially.
Can be,
Yummy.
but so valuable. They didn't just ask why they lost the deal. They probed deeper. What were the competitors' perceived strengths? What were their own perceived weaknesses during the sales process?
Getting candid feedback.
Extremely candid. And that feedback directly led them to refine their sales strategy, tweak their messaging, maybe adjust their pricing presentation. It significantly improved their conversion rates going forward.
Wow. So interviews aren't just for product features, they can impact sales strategy too.
Absolutely. It clearly demonstrated the strategic value of those direct customer insights, even beyond the product itself. These cases just really highlight the power of focusing on specific interactions or the overall experience to uncover truly unexpected, game-changing insights.
This deep dive really shows it, doesn't it? Customer feedback analysis, especially through customer interviews, isn't just some corporate buzzword. It's a powerful, genuinely empathetic way to gain insights that drive real business growth.
It's about connection, really.
Yeah. By following this kind of structured approach from that meticulous preparation all the way through to actionable insights, you really can significantly improve your products, enhance customer satisfaction, and ultimately foster sustainable growth.
It's a continuous cycle.
It is. And just remember those key takeaways.
Hmm.
Always aim for those open-ended questions, listen actively, and make sure you validate your insights with clear, actionable data and steps.
Which brings us maybe to a final thought, a question for you listening to consider. How might truly understanding the why behind just a single customer's seemingly small frustration, how might that unlock a completely new, maybe untapped growth opportunity for your business? An opportunity you hadn't even imagined before.